Hi guys, welcome to today's episode where I'm going to try to make this tree look more natural by wiring. This is a Ulmus parvifolia, so this is a Chinese elm that I bought in the store, and it was, I think it was 30 bucks or something. It was a really ugly mass production S-shaped curved bonsai, or yeah, bonsai-ish plant. You know, in the blue pots that are like really ugly. We all bought some of those, I know you did, but it's just normal. In the beginning you think that that's bonsai, or at least most of us think that that's bonsai, and afterwards your style progresses and you realize that that is not the case. Well, that's what I went through. I also have a video on that one when I was just starting this channel before my break. And yeah, I was explaining how to style this in Dutch though, but my bonsai skills have progressed, my style has changed, and I think that this time is going to be a little bit better. So after 5 years in the ground, this is the result after cutting it down. Here, 5 years in the ground, and now I have something to start with. So this is actually a first styling. This is not going to be a finished tree. It's just going to have movement in the branches, and it's going to be a step forward in the right direction for this tree. Okay, so stay tuned. Steps are done. Let me just walk you through what I did. First of all, this is a Chinese elm, and normally you wouldn't see a Chinese elm without leaves because they keep their leaves. The thing is, this is a Chinese elm that has been brought outside. Most of the people keep them inside as indoor bonsai, which is actually not the best practice because they do lose their leaves. As you can see, this one here, it's nice and yellow. So this means that when cold touches the leaves, it will drop leaves. It is possible to defoliate this tree without any issues. So this is what I am doing. Because it is actually winter right now, I am defoliating the tree. And just an easy tidbit here, it's very easy to defoliate trees if you do this. So you could just put your fingers around the branch very carefully and very carefully pull. And as you can see, you can put your fingers just slightly, don't push too much because you can pull away your branch. Just have to be very gentle while doing this. So you put your fingers around the leaves, and then you hold your branches tight, and then you just pull. And as you can see, this is a very, very easy way to get rid of all the leaves. I actually decided that this was going to be my front because of the fact that the base here is widest. That's always the first step you have to do. The first step is to figure out what is your front, and by looking at the widest point of your base, but secondary to that, you have to look at your best line base to tip. So here to here, this looks like my best line. If you look at this section here and you start from the bottom and you go up the tree, this looks like the most beautiful line of the tree. So this is the most important line. If I turn it around, you will see that the line begins to change, and you can see flaws in this otherwise beautiful sinuous line. Now you can see this, which is not such a beautiful feature, at least not for now, until it deteriorates. This might change in the future. This is a deciduous tree, so you choose the front, but you always, and that's actually for every tree, you always have to be malleable and be able to evolve together with the plant. So as you can see, if I turn this around, the tree, the best line base to tip remains, at least in my case, or at least that's my opinion, from here, this beautiful, in between those branches, beautiful line. And that's why I chose this. I defoliated the tree, and so now I can start working on the rest. As you can see, I already wired these two branches with the same thickness of wire. I think this is 4 aluminum wire. We're going to use aluminum wire because this is a deciduous tree. Although you could have gone with copper because of the roughness of the bark, but I prefer aluminum anyways because there's more room to bend the branches. I already bended it a little bit. Those are thicker branches, so you need to be careful if you do so. But if you bend, I'm just going to demonstrate this. If you bend, you need to really support your branch. And for instance, if I'm going to bend this here, I'm going to use the entire branch. Look at this. If I want this here to bend, I'm going to use the entire branch. I'm not going to go as far now. And I am also going to twist with the wire. So my wire is going counterclockwise this time. So I'm going to twist counterclockwise. As you can see, I'm not going to bend it too much because I already bent the branch. I'll just demonstrate with the smaller ones later in order to not have breakages. If your branch breaks, it's not a big deal. It's normal to have small breakages. If you do this at the right time, the breaks will heal, and it could actually mean that you brought your branch further than it normally would without breakage. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate how I'm going to pair these branches right now. I'm going to pair these two. Let me just first explain something. You always need to pair 2 branches. This is just so you have an anchor. So I just made my first anchor here on a structural branch. So you have a structural branch. I anchored it here, and then I made sure that my system, because this is all a system, was set up for success. Now I'm going to step down. So you have the thickness of these branches. You have your primary branch coming off the trunk. Then you have your secondary branches, and these are actually the scaffolding. It means that these hold the smaller tertiary branches in place. Now, what are we going to do? First of all, we need to pair 2 branches. Always pair 2 branches. It's a 2-branch principle. It's common knowledge in bonsai. If you don't know this, just ask me. I'll comment in the sections below if you need more information, or I'll just make another video about it. So first of all, I'm going to pair these 2 because they are similar in thickness, and right now for the time being similar in length. This is going to change, but I always have to start with the bottom of the branch, and then you need at least not 1 turn. This is 1 turn. You need a turn and a half in order to have a stable system. If you don't do this, if you would pair these 2, then let me just demonstrate this. If I would do this, I'm not going to demonstrate it completely, but if I would just do this and then this, if I move this branch, if I move this one, then you can see that this one is also moving. This is not something you want. You want stability. And in order to have stability, you need 1.5 turn. So 1.5 turn, I'll start my wiring here. Always start from the bottom, then you know that you're following your secondary wire. You go 1 turn. This is 1 turn. Always support with your offhand, also very important. So this is 1 turn, and then you have your half, right? So then you choose, either you take one small turn here to anchor, and you continue with your second branch. Let me just do one thing here. Normally you should decide on the length of your wire, but just for this purposes I was doing this. So you wire your entire branch. Here you go. And the first one. So as you can see now, if I do this, nothing happens. See, nothing happens. We have a really solid structure, and this system that we are making also is very stable. Also very important, you start from the inside of your branch to the outside of your branch. So I started the first one here, coupled with this one. So normally, the next one should be this one, coupled with this one, because you need your 1.5 turn. Okay, so, and this is how you wire one branch. I'm going to continue wire this entire tree the same way, but I'll just do time lapse because it'll be tedious to just watch me wire this. Okay, so let's just wire this one. This is pretty fragile, so we're going to go here first. We're going to wire this one first, okay, in order to have your stability already. And then you could step down wire, but it'll be, this is 1.5, so stepping down to 1 is actually not that big of a deal. So you can do this, okay. And then one little thing, also make sure you're never wiring on a bud, always in between buds. Now, very important thing, what to do with this one. Now you can choose, actually you just need an anchor point, or you anchor it here, but that would be not that great because then you don't have a turn, or you anchor it here. I'm going to anchor it here, just one small turn, and then I'm going to turn it here. I did skip this one, but that's not a big deal. And then of course one more turn. And we're done, as you can see. Now, what I was telling you before, you have to turn with the wire and like this. So you always support and turn with the wire. As you can see, my wire is going clockwise here. I turn with the wire and again with the wire. See, one more time. Also go into the branch and out. There you go. And just like that, you have a neatly wired branch. I'll put some more movement in this and I'll clean this up, and we have our branch totally wired. As you can see, it's dark already, but I'm pretty happy with it. This came from the soil, from the ground, 5 years, and now we finally had our first styling, our real first styling, after a serious restyle of the tree. Pretty happy. The only thing that could be a problem in the future or is this one. So this was a large branch and the wound is actually pointing towards the viewer. That is actually something that is not perfectly or not ideal, but I'll probably be opening this up and making this into a gin of some sorts, or a little shari here. It means a little piece of deadwood, which is pretty common in deciduous trees. So I'm not too worried about this. As you can see, I wired the entire tree. Some people choose not to, but I believe in the first steps you have to wire the entire tree, and then after a couple of rewires you have to let the tree guide the decisions. And yeah, pretty stoked about this. I also left this really long. It's only to promote more growth. This I'm going to let it run in order to close wounds and everything, but not that much, because if I would do that, all of the finer branches that I already have would become too large. So yeah. If you guys have questions about the species or about something that I did, please don't hesitate to comment in the comment section. And as always, subscribe, like, and see you next time.